Welcome to The Consumers. My name is Greg Warren. I am here with Sean O'Brien.
Greg, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Sean.
We're back.
And we got some big news. Last week, we got rid of the table.
And
this week, we got rid of Tim.
gone.
Yeah, he's out, man. We fired the table.
Yeah. The table. It's next week. Who knows?
Tim would have been gone a week before, but there was the table.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to overload.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Sean. We didn't want to make too many changes in 1 week. So yeah. Tim is a big show business guy, of course you guys know, and he went to the Mark Twain Awards last night in D.C. Conan was receiving an award. Our friend Nikki was presenting, or she was speaking. Tim's brother Chris was running the show, and Tim couldn't. He was going to make it, and he texted us today and said they're delaying the flights, and he couldn't make it. So our buddy Brando,
This is big, though.
Brando bailed us out.
Hey,
Brando, he's a great guy. Number one, he's a great guy. Number two, he is a radio host here in St. Louis on 106.5, The Arch, The Courtney Show. That is the morning show that Tim is part of.
Correct.
Yes. And he's a funny guy. He's a youth baseball coach, renowned youth baseball coach.
I don't think renowned is the right word.
I think you are, buddy. Yeah.
Technically, I am the coach, but that's only because I start the team and then make the team. So no one voted me or elected me the position. I just am like, I am going to do this.
Yeah, but you've done
And
it for
then you get to be the coach.
several of your children, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've not been banned from the sport yet, so that's probably a good sign.
What's the best you guys have ever done?
Oh gosh.
Because frankly, I never saw you in that World Series. I haven't seen you.
No, we've never made it to the Little League World Series. I don't know. We've had some winning seasons. We won some tournaments.
Yeah.
I've had every type of season. The very first season that I coached, we didn't win a single game. Like we went 0 for the season.
Yeah.
And then the next year we went like a game below 500. So I was pretty excited about
That's a big improvement.
That's a big
right there.
jump. Yeah.
That's sort of the improvement we made between episode 5 and 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was 0 for in the first, because I've been listening to the show. It didn't sound like offers.
Yeah, it was over. We had no listeners.
Well,
0 people listened.
if you're gonna have a bad show, it's best to do it when no one's listening.
You know, see, that's a positive spin on it.
Yeah.
That's the coach.
Yeah.
That's
It
what
was
you do.
horrible. Yeah, Sean and I got in a big argument, and
I thought that was just weekly.
yeah, Randy was throwing Coke bottles at us. Randy's with us.
I know,
Randy's here.
Randy. Man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
He's so close.
I called Adrian Culp, our producer, and told him, hey, listen, we got Tim out. We're throwing around some ideas. He's like, well, what if Randy said it? And I'm like, are you crazy? Randy can't do that.
So
man.
he turned it down. I'm just happy that the I'm just happy that the 9 people you asked before me turned it down.
You were number 2.
I was
I'm
number 2.
not going to lie. You were number 2.
I think
man.
I bet.
Can you guess who was number 1?
Courtney was
Courtney
number
was
1. Yeah.
number 1.
Well, I mean, if you got the Courtney
Landrum.
show,
Yeah,
you should
Courtney
try to get
Landrum. I've
Courtney.
known her a lot longer than you.
Yeah.
She's
a big fan of consuming things.
Yeah, she consumes quite a few things.
Yeah.
I thought it was, we'll get to the brand a little bit, but the brand probably not up her alley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that would have
Nah,
struck as much of a chord with her.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we should do Michelob Ultra if she's.
Or just watery beers.
Yeah.
Just the whole category.
No, I mean, she stands for Mick Ultra. Like, that's like, she's branded. So
she's incredibly loyal to that.
She is. And that's what we're about
specific
is loyalty.
Yeah.
Other than Tim's not going to be on the podcast anymore.
Yeah, he's done, man.
It's not personal.
If you do
loyalty.
well, which so far it's going great, I think.
I just hope
If you do well, Tim's
if
out.
I do as well as the table at the end of the show, I'll be happy, because I feel
Well, if
like
you
there's
do well at the
probably
table,
lots
you're
of hoopla about the table.
You're gonna this table or
Yes,
the previous table?
the new table.
Okay. If you do, you can't.
Yeah.
But if you do as well as the previous table, your family will be assaulted. You will get.
Oh.
Yeah, the listeners will pile on.
I mean, I'll at least be on 10 episodes then? I mean, 15? How many episodes did the first table make it through?
25.
The
25,
first table was
see?
on. I think it was 400, and it was
400,
also.
see?
It was basically the lead character in those 400.
If everyone tuned in, they said, come for the table, stay for the stuff. that they're
I mean,
consuming.
they couldn't tell you what else we were talking about.
They're just like,
except
guys, have you heard this new podcast about this table?
Yeah, they are very heavy on the table. I will say I got a text from Tim to me and Sean about what his flight was or something like that. And I go, hey, dude, I don't know who this is. I was like, I don't have this number on my phone. If this is about the consumers, text the official consumer text chain. It's me, Brando, Sean, and Randy. He's like, oh, man.
A single tear rolled down his face.
Yeah, man. I mean, he broke the no-hitter. We've had one. I mean, we were going strong for 26.
Doing great, man.
And,
doing great. Then he just,
Southwest Airlines got him.
The thing is, I there wasn't a lot of time in there. And I'm like, I fly every weekend. Especially if you're flying later in the day, like,
yeah,
for you to make it on time, almost not a chance.
Yeah. He was already behind the 8 ball in the setup. So, but we went to the bullpen. We got Dan Quisenberry.
I'm happy to come in and throw some
Dan Quisenberry,
sidewinders, yeah.
Royals most of his career.
Mostly with the Royals, yes.
Won World Series in '85. Was he part of that team?
I guess he was probably with that Royals team. We don't try to talk about that one in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, it's a sore
poor little out for that one. That one kind of stung a little bit, but
for baseball fans, Dan Quisenberry had a very, very unique, unorthodox way of throwing the baseball.
He was a submariner,
yeah. And I got such a kick out of it as a kid because I'm like, it's like he's throwing it underhand, but in a typical.
He was that. That's what they were talking about. The way he threw the ball.
Yeah.
Submariner?
It's called a submarine style.
I assumed it was they were talking about his naval career.
His naval career.
I thought, is that what that was about?
I believe so. Well, he did have a Navy. He had a Navy style mustache. So, I mean, I could see where you get confused.
Yeah, I could trick people.
Man, that's big news for me.
Yeah. No, I tried to learn how to throw like him when I was, when he was throwing. And I pulled it off.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah, you were telling us earlier you were a high school pitcher?
Yes. Yeah. So in high school, I just threw normal. But then after high school, I was like, you know what? I could probably do that.
Where'd you play after high school?
I just played on like adult baseball teams. Like
you got to be. So you're just in some rec league coming out throwing submarine stuff.
I just was like, I'm gonna try it out.
Like, we got another Quisenberry.
And you see the guys on there too. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because none of us are going to the pros. We're just out here having a couple of beers.
Yeah, exactly. Having our Ultras.
The first time I tried it out was in old Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Yeah.
And we were playing a really good baseball team, and I started through submarine the whole time, and it worked great.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the way. Did
you start thinking maybe I should go to college and play?
Yeah, I was like, I've screwed everything up. I've been throwing overhand this whole time.
Yeah.
I'll start over, and I don't think I ever threw it as well again as I did
just
in
that one
Cape
time.
Girardeau.
Yeah.
That was it. There was something in the air that night.
Yeah. That was like that one night when Sean, he went on stage at the Funny Bone and was doing Stephen Wright. And
just channeling it.
Just killed it. Just
felt
murdered.
Right, man.
It felt right.
It did.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I got something special here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to change who I am as a person on stage and off.
And a week later.
And I just, So when I go, if you ever see me, it's just like,
no, after that, it was the one, again, it was the one night.
It just, that one time it worked.
The next time it was awful.
I know the feeling.
Bombs away, man. Yeah. That one night of fun. And then,
well,
yeah.
You had a magic moment.
I did, man. Yeah.
Just like my night in Cape. Same thing.
Yeah, man. They're still talking about that down there.
I'm sure they are. Yeah. It's a hot topic.
I do appreciate Stephen Wright. That would be if someone, like, I think that's a very tricky style because you're just leaning. I know you're not picking on him. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying as a comment, that is I find that insanely difficult.
Oh, no kidding.
It's my thought. What do you, am I?
Yeah. I mean, he was awesome. But the reason I made fun of you with Stephen Wright is because I think like when I was in college, I went up one time and thought I was Stephen Wright.
You went with
I was doing that very dry
Who did you
delivery. However, part of the thing that works with that dry delivery is very genius written jokes. And I was like doing terrible jokes in a very dry manner. It's like, that was terrible. Yeah.
Damn, what was I thinking?
Yeah, you might want to speed that up. They might not hear it as clearly.
Like I love comedians, and you guys are both legit comedians. Like, and so I'm always curious.
I think so.
Let's not get carried away.
Well, like the journey to where you find your own personal voice usually starts with someone else's voice.
Yeah.
So who were you guys?
It was Journey, actually.
It was Journey?
Yeah.
You're just Steve Perrying it up there.
Steve Perry.
We were like, we don't understand your jokes. You're singing them too
for
high
the first,
and loud.
for the first 10 years, I was like, I was on the airplane.
Like,
these peanuts.
We don't understand.
Peanuts in the sky.
This would be funnier
rolling.
if you weren't singing this part.
Yeah, I was doing Journey, man.
Yeah, well, okay. That answers my
That's
question.
what he
Sean,
does in that
same
fish
thing.
sandwich bit. That's a journey. He's like using Steve Perry's voice when he sings that fish sandwich.
Oh, see,
Go
now-
listen to it,
now
guys.
I-
It's out there.
Now
It's
I
online.
totally understand. That makes a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
we had a little bit of an argument on the pod about who was a better singer, Sean or I, because
I've never heard either one of you sing.
well, there are albums out there where I'm actually singing a bit, i.e. Fish Sandwich, i.e. early Greg Warren. I sang some country music and then made fun of it. Brando here is a very good singer. He writes like a parody song every Friday and sings it, and it's really, really good. Yeah, you
Thank
can
you.
sing. Did you prepare something?
Hit it, gang. No, I don't.
You don't have anything?
No, I don't have.
You
a
don't have a
I
song?
only had like 2 hours.
I told you what the
notice.
brand was. You had at least an hour 40 to get ready
That's
for this.
true.
thing.
God,
Yeah.
what else rhymes with giant?
Yeah.
Reliance.
There you go. See how good this guy is?
Yeah, he's on it.
See? Yeah. You were asking who was influenced. I don't know. I was influenced. The first guy was Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I had not heard much stand up, and I heard his one of his CDs or cassette tapes back then, and it was awesome. And I was like, just repeated it to everybody. I was like a sophomore in high school, and I think that did get like I did character. I've done characters a little bit throughout my career, and I think that probably had something to do with it.
I had the same thing. Eddie kind of crept into my brain,
Yeah,
and I just told jokes to my friends. First, as just copying him,
Right.
his actual jokes from Raw or Delirious or something. But then it was like, I think I'm just trying to talk like him
Yeah.
and do voices
Yeah.
like him.
yeah.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
No, not quite.
But back then,
yeah.
apparently it was okay
Yeah.
as long as there's no tapes of that.
Right. Sean, your guy's always been Bill Burr, right?
When I started, comedy, huge Burr guy. But I would say Carlin, like when I was just watching, he always had that every year, a special on HBO. And like, that's the one thing my dad bought as a kid. Like that was our one treat. We had HBO. I don't think we had a microwave, but we had HBO growing up in the 80s.
Better for
So
you.
I like sneak downstairs at night because I know it's like R-rated stuff. And I'd be like, oh, this is great. I'm 12 years old watching him. You're like, I'm sick and tired of airplanes and talking about, he had this whole thing about like, there are no bombs on a plane. It was like this 8-minute thing. And it was just, I remember I could memorize it. I was like, there was a time and I'd be in like 8th grade saying it and be like, why is this guy ranting and raving, cursing?
Yeah,
Like,
you
just how
probably
he
loved every
talked.
minute of it.
I was like having such a good time.
Is it
Now-
like a faux pas, you think, for among comedians to, if that question comes up for them to mention somebody that you're like, oh, like not a legend? Because Eddie Murphy, George Carlin.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
think
if somebody's just like Carrot Top, you'd be like, oh.
no. I mean, some people probably would do that, but Carrot Top's had a very.
It's like one of my favorite guys.
Yeah, he's had a great career. He's huge.
Obviously, he's hugely successful.
I was one of those guys coming up. I came up in a community where it was like, everybody's not like
If
us.
it's
is a
not
hack.
Pryor, then get
it's
out of
like,
here.
And I look back at some of the ways I looked at comedy and things I said, and even things I was a jerk.
Like one of my favorites was Gallagher.
Oh yeah, man,
That was my guy.
yeah.
Because you could go rent. I'd go to the video store, and he had all these videos you could rent.
Yeah.
And he was smashing fruits and stuff, and I hate fruit.
Fruits and chocolates.
I was
and,
like,
yeah.
this guy's great.
Watermelons.
Too bad he
Yeah.
wasn't in this episode. He could smash all these vegetables.
That's true. You can
Yeah.
bring him in and
We have.
take him out.
Yeah, I met him one time. Yeah, he was also a pretty good joke writer, though. Like he
Yes.
did all that stuff, but he was.
He did a lot of the wordplay,
Yeah,
like
he could-
messing around with the
he-
English language stuff.
Yeah,
And-
he was a joke writer.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, it's funny. The guys that Bob Newhart's a big influence, a very big influence on me.
Mhm.
But some of the guys that I think influenced me the most, because I wasn't like a giant comedy fan until I sort of got into it, were guys that are just peers or people, like I wouldn't call Mitch Hedberg a peer, but I was alive the same time as Mitch, and I was on shows opening for him, and I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable, and I can't do what he does, but
I think that
it's
guy,
amazing.
he haunts people, I feel like comedians. He's like, that's,
it is
You know what I
easy
mean?
to get into his voice rhythm.
yeah.
Yeah, and David Tell too. Both of them, like you get into that cadence, and it is hard to get out of. But yeah.
Now, Regan, I've seen guys that be like, that's pretty Brian Regan. Type
Yeah.
vibe.
Oh,
Like
sure.
you.
See, I don't have the ear as much as I'm sure you guys do to hear Like,
I have it too much, I think. Greg and I, we've talked about this, where I feel like I could find 90% of comedians and point to their influence. And then somebody like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
and the ladies.
It's always fun.
Ladies love that too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like, oh
my
yeah.
gosh, did you see Sean? He was calling out the comedians.
Yeah, it's like the
But not as
Jack
like,
Black in that
sexy.
record movie. It's like, oh, this is funny. Well, let me cross-examine him and tell you why it's there's nothing
Here are
original
10
about what
reasons
they have
why
to
that
say.
joke's
Yeah.
not actually funny,
Yeah.
even though you laughed at it.
Fine, you know. You shut up. Ruin it forever. You ruin everything, man.
I don't. Hey, man, look, you don't have to be so caustic. All right, I'm trying to have a good time here.
Is that the word of the
wait,
week?
is that
Bingo.
a word of the
Got it in out of the gate. What are we? 20 minutes in?
caustic?
Caustic is
Put it on the books, gang. It's real. CAUSTIC,
What
and
is
it counts, and it played well.
What does it mean?
It's like cynical,
in a bitter way. Oh,
basically,
yeah, you got it,
Yeah,
man.
cynical and sort of like
Bitter way.
I'm not going to react positively towards anything. Nothing's going to excite me.
It seems like
Yeah.
you usually know the definition of the word of the week.
He's pretty
that
good.
one
He's-
is not
You're
really
a bit of a
yeah.
wordsmith.
Able to. Oh, there's a
Well, it's number 2. Yeah.
number 2.
Well, look at this.
Sarcastic
We
in
have
a
a screen.
scathing and bitter way.
You
The
guys have it
players,
all.
the players are making caustic comments about the. Can't read it.
Referee.
Refereeing.
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a weird word.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was safe on that. I would
fine.
never think you got that. Oh, it is fine. No, I'm promised. I'm gonna give myself a 7 on how strong that word is. But I'm saying I
might be
am
able to use
impressed.
that one.
Greg
There you
does
go.
know some stuff that. I mean, he reads a lot. That's the advantage.
Not
he has.
really.
You do, man. You
No,
read.
I don't know. I'm
You
trying
probably
to get
read
through the
10
first
books
book.
a year, which is
I don't
10
know, I'm
more
trying to
than
get through the first book all year, and I can't. It's a book called *Sapiens*, and it is very dense.
You fiction, nonfiction?
It is nonfiction, and I don't
Yeah.
usually read fiction, and it is very, very dense, and I fall asleep too much, and it's like it's interesting, fascinating, and very well written. And somebody told me that you need to read this book, and I do need to read it, but it may take me 3 years to get through it at the
Yeah.
pace I'm going.
Nonfiction to me is kind of like vegetables. Like I know I'm supposed to go in on this every now and again, but man, sometimes it's not your favorite thing.
And that's why Brando is a radio professional. He was
Yeah.
leading us
Did you
into
see that?
vegetables. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. It was amazing. Our
Just
brand
steers it right in, man.
this week is green giant vegetables. Pretty cool
Now,
stuff.
This is big because we're taking kind of a turn here where we're still staying in somewhere in the food lane, but it's not going to kill us.
Is this the first frozen food item you've done?
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the first. It's the first healthy. Well,
That's where I'm going.
We did nuts. Basically, he's saying is Sean's doctor and Tim's doctor and my doctor all got together and sat us down. and was like, listen,
You
guys.
guys got to back up.
I have AFib
Yeah.
since I
The
started
next
this
brand-
Much with
podcast.
the cheeses.
Yeah, the next brand you're going to be doing is a statin, or yeah. I need to credit two fans, Rita and Ann. I see them in the Kirkwood Starbucks all the time, and they told me that our next brand probably should be a statin or Ozempic.
Lipitor.
Yeah, Ozempic or something because of all the stuff we were doing. Rita and Ann, very, very, both very funny and very kind. And Rita is a fan of the podcast.
Mhm.
She listens every now and then. She really enjoyed the show that we did in Belleville, the stand-up show. She's a fan of your radio show too.
Oh, cool.
And then Ann didn't even know we had a podcast. But
Oh, really?
that's how we get listeners. Is I go to Starbucks and
You just start talking to people. And
Start
say,
talking
"Hey,
to people.
Do you listen to podcasts?
You like podcasts? Now listen, hey, one out of every maybe 350 times they want to talk to me. The other
Yeah.
times I'm reported to the authorities, things like that. But that's how we're building it. We're up to 8 listeners right now, and it's all me and Starbucks. And it's,
Whatever it
yeah,
takes.
Yeah.
Do you get that when you say you have a podcast, people give you the reasons why they don't listen to your podcast? Because that's the life of radio.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work at a radio station. And then you tell them the station, like, oh, I don't listen to that station. You're like,
yeah.
okay,
And why do we have to? Yeah.
you can just go, oh, cool.
I
I
will.
don't have
right,
to
yeah, you
know
don't-
why you don't like what I do.
I will go up to women and I'll talk to them and they want to get away from me. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not hitting on you. I was going to tell you about my podcast, and they're like, well, I'd go out with you, but your podcast I want nothing to do with.
They would rather like go
with
with a complete stranger to a second location
than listen to our podcast.
Than commit to listening to a podcast.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Fine, I'll go.
That's the day and age we live in.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, are you kidding me? No, please knock it off. The brand is Green Giant. I thought a pretty fascinating history with the Green Giant. It's one of the reasons I picked it, other than the fact that we got to lay off the junk food for a little while.
Yeah, no, it's a real problem, man. It is.
The location we're talking about is the Le Sueur. Sorry, that's the masculine, not La is feminine. Le Sueur, Minnesota. That's the town.
Is that French?
Yes, it is French.
Okay.
I'm glad you know that.
I didn't know I was going to learn French today.
It is. Now listen, as long as we're talking about French, Sueur, because there is also there's it's located in Minnesota. It's the Minnesota Valley Canning Company, started in Le Sueur, Minnesota, and they developed Green Giant, the brand. They also have you ever heard of Le Sueur peas? They also have another brand called Le Sueur.
I knew that name.
Yes, Le Sueur, based on the name of the town. It's a separate brand, same company, okay? Just like Nateland has, our podcast and a couple of smaller podcasts like Nateland or something like
that.
So
Le Sueur is part of Green Giant?
Le Sueur is part of the Minnesota Valley Canning. Originally, we're still in the back. We're still in this room. But they're part of Green Giant.
I hate to jump ahead.
Yeah. No, you're doing
I'm
fine.
excited because those are my favorite.
Those
are my favorite peas.
But I wanted to let you know those peas, Le Sueur, okay, it's spelled Sessueur, much like the town, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in Canada, it's spelled Sieur. Do you know why?
Because
they're
French.
French. Do you know what sewer means in French? Sweat.
Oh,
close.
So you don't want sweat peas.
You don't want sweat peas. So
No.
they changed the spelling of it. Yes, sweat. I'm sure you're familiar with the great Canadian hip hop artist Keith Sewer. Back in the 80s, what was his big hit?
Man, he had one that was a lot of fun.
You would need Tim for that one. I think he would have the answer.
Gonna make you sewer.
Gonna make you sewer. There you go.
You shouldn't laugh at your own jokes, but I was pretty proud of that
one.
Dumb
you
thing.
Should be.
I enjoyed it, man.
So here's what happened. You got this canning company up in Minnesota, the Minnesota Valley Canning Company, and they're doing well. And mostly what they're doing is they're taking other brands. They're just you're
just
a brand
middleman.
Yeah, we'll can your carrots, your peas, your asparagus.
They had good cans.
Whatever. Yeah, they had good cans. They knew what they were doing with cans. Okay, so they're doing this. And one of their execs, this guy is named Ward Cosgrove. Does that not sound like a 50s consumer products exec?
100%. I mean, that guy was easily born into money.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
He was born into cans.
He was born into
He
canning.
was meant to be in a canner.
Yeah. I think Cosgrove was the rival company
of the Jetsons.
Is it Jetsons or was it Cosley's
Cogswell or
Cosley's
Cogsley Cogs and what are
what were the two companies in the Jetsons? Because I thought maybe it was Flintstones too, but he worked for another company.
No, it's Jetsons.
Yeah. Ward Cosgrove. Okay, so Ward, he was on a trip over in the UK. Okay. Sean, that's short for United Kingdom.
Let me get that down.
Yeah.
I got that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Cogswell Cogs.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, is it Cogswell Cogs?
Yeah,
Cogswell's Cogs. Yeah. Probably get close to Ward Cosgrove.
Hey, Jetson.
Yeah.
That was his voice, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, but who were their competitor? Who was their competitor?
Well, his boss was he's the little guy with the mustache.
That was Coswell, right?
Like, Jetson, get in here.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. What was it?
Space Sprockets. Yeah,
of course.
And those guys, man, you talk about it's like Coke Pepsi. They went at it.
I mean, either you're a cog guy or you're a sprocket guy.
Yeah.
And the two shall not meet in the middle.
And from
even
what
though they could, because they physically were, cogs and sprockets.
Exactly. From what I remember, they were.
What's a cog in the wheel? What does that mean?
I mean, I think they're the same thing, don't you think? Like the
as the wheel turns,
where they catch in the middle.
It's that catch in them. If you're interlocking wheels, it's one of the things that interlocks.
It's a cog in the wheel. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, where was I? Oh yeah, Ward Cosgrove went over to the UK and he was looking around and they had discovered a new pea over there.
In England?
A new pea over there. It was called the Prince of Wales pea, named after Edward, who I believe, from what I know from the TV show The Crown, went on to abdicate the throne.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was the Prince of Wales pea. Okay. So he brought it back and was like talking to all these guys that he was canning for, like, guys, and this pea was giant. It was much, much bigger than the other peas.
I was imagining already the little pea.
No, it's like kind of dented and a little bit oblong and very big, much bigger than the other peas.
Okay.
Follow me?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Like an apple? Like
not quite the size of an apple. No, I mean, not the size of an apple.
Who would want that?
Now you're making this pea sound like you're nothing. Like I was saying it was a big deal, and then it's a trick that my friend Nick Griffin does.
Oh yes,
like he'll take my accomplishments,
the 2-time All-American,
and he'll say something like, I did well in college, and then Nick will be like, well, Greg was an Olympic gold medalist, and I was like, no, I wasn't. Now what I did sounds not very good at all.
Right. Now you got to cut yourself back.
Yeah. Nick Griffin does that to me whenever he introduces me to somebody. He does it on purpose.
Great, man.
Yeah, he does it on purpose to try to make me look bad.
Yeah.
You know,
you're like, no, I didn't play. I was an All-American. Big deal, man.
Yeah, it sounds like
you
nothing.
were.
but not an Olympic medalist.
not an Olympic medalist. Did you even go to the Olympics? No, I did not. I did not.
I mean, do you even know Olympian wrestler? I think this is.
I
why am
wrestled
I
a couple
to this
guys.
guy?
I wrestled a couple guys from the Olympics. Had a good match.
You beat him?
No, I did not.
That's still pretty cool, though, man.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you get to step in the ring with him. That's cool.
So, anyways, despite what Brando's saying,
so I went from a really small pea to a very large pea.
Brando
somewhere
just
in the
give
middle.
an example, like somewhere, so maybe double the size of the original pea.
That's a good way to
Let's
say
just go
it.
double.
Let's
guys.
say
like a double cheeseburger went from a regular
a big
to a
pea.
double at McDonald's.
In the interest of moving on, I would say yes, it's double the size of a regular pea. I have no data around that.
All right.
And he goes to these other canning companies, right? And he says, "Hey guys, check this out. I got a big pea." And they're like, "It looks weird. Small peas are better."
Well, plus it's a weird question. You guys want to see a big pea? And they're all like, no.
No. Yeah, they're like
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. And they were like, no. They were basically like, we got to. And he's like, "Come on, guys, this is like the new thing." It was also very sweet. It was very sweet. That pea, and they just were kind of stuck in their ways. And he's like, "You know what? I'll do it on my own. I'll just, instead of being like just your canning guy, I'm going to make my own stuff." And he was like, "Okay, we're going to do it." Now he wanted to call it Green Giant because it was a green pea that was giant. And he went to the patent office. They're like, you can't really call it that because it's just, I guess it's sort of anybody. It's sort of like a common term. Generic, I guess is what I would say.
Too generic.
Like to consumers?
Yeah, you don't have the right to say, kind of like that. Thanks for getting us
I'm
into
kidding, man.
legal hot water. Appreciate that.
No, you were the first ones on it. Your squatters' rights.
There's, I don't know. There's somebody that was claiming it. And got there first. So thanks for bringing that up. But
you're welcome, buddy. Got to add a little spice to the show.
Take them out.
Yeah. You had plenty of spice. Looking more for the substance. But
so you got this big sweet pea.
You got this big sweet pea, which it's like, come on, guys, get on board. This is the newest thing. It's the Prince of
You
Wales.
can feed families with 5 peas.
Once again, you're
once again, family.
Yeah.
Once again,
maybe 3. Maybe a husband, wife, and 1 kid.
Yeah, maybe like the family in Jack and the Beanstalk or whatever. I think they were struggling.
Yeah, maybe they were
small. Starving at one point. I think.
Yeah, they would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the problem is that nobody was really complaining about the small peas already. So this guy comes in,
he's got a new
and
thing.
he's like, "Hey, I got this thing." And like, "Yeah, man, let's leave well enough alone, man. Don't. This is not broken.
He's
the
got
small
a solution looking for a problem.
Yeah, he was a rabble
needed.
rouser. He wanted to change things that were, the pea business was probably very good back then.
And they're like, we like our peas this size.
Yeah.
The small peas are what people like. They don't like the big peas.
I like that. Yeah, it sounds like
that's how they talk.
Newsreel from the 30s.
Yeah, that's
30s baseball broadcaster.
Yeah.
Suffering succotash.
I like it.
Say something like that.
That's a funny thing that you just said that.
Yeah.
There is a joke ranking we have based that Greg made a joke on that. It's the whole
A
backstory.
succotash joke?
Yeah, and this guy ranks it every
a-
week against other jokes in the show. Like,
Okay.
not
Every
to get
week,
too in the weeds. but-
Gabriel, one of our listeners, whatever joke is made on this, I'm sure. What joke did I make earlier? Something to do with Keith Sweat.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to
Sweat.
rank that. It was either better or worse than the succotash joke.
Oh gosh! And so I just stepped right into a succotash thing.
Yeah, my joke for reference, Brando, a funny guy. It was that somebody was talking about succotash, and I said, well, actually, that succotash. Apparently, there was some complaints. PETA got involved, and I said that apparently. And
it's
the word suffering had not been mentioned during that episode. And so we were talking about succotash, and I brought up something like, when I go to the cheese factory, I like, was there any mistreatment of this succotash? And Brando likes it, Gabe.
Yeah, so, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
It's good.
Thank you. So anyways, they say, you can't have that name. And he's like, well, what if we come up with like a mascot? Because you establish the mascot, and then you can sort of backdoor your way into the brand. So that's what they did. Now, he came up with the Green Giant. The first Green Giant was not green, was not a giant. It was basically a caveman with like a bearskin fur holding a giant, and this time it's giant, like an ear of corn almost as big as his body.
Okay.
That was the first.
This really was a big ear of corn.
Yeah, and it was developed by a guy... John Olson was the one who developed it.
Johnny Olson.
Johnny O borrowed heavily from the brothers Grimm.
Oh, yeah. Look at that guy.
Yeah. Who are the brothers Grimm, by the way? What are their names? Anybody?
Ted and Larry?
No. Ted and Larry are not.
I wasn't even sure if there really were brothers Grimm.
Jacob and Wilhelm.
Okay.
Jacob and Wilhelm. Yeah. They had one of their Grimm brothers or Brothers Grimm fairy tales called Bearskin.
Oh my God, I know that story.
Are you kidding? That story is, go ahead and tell us the story. It's fascinating. Sean,
what do we got?
Yeah.
The reason I know this story, this is maybe even more disturbing once you know, because you know the story.
Yes. Now. Tell it to our listeners.
Okay.
All 6 of them.
So the story is, this guy
we had 8, but Tim's mom probably isn't going to tune in on this one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Big Kate. She'll be back.
Yeah.
So his dad will listen. The story is this guy's kind of walking through the woods. This is the version that I know. Guy's walking through the woods, and this guy comes out of nowhere, and he's just like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" And he's like, "I'm just walking through the woods." He's like, "Hey, I'll make a deal with you. How about I'm sorry. Back it up. A bear comes out and starts to like attack or something. These two are having a conversation, and so they kill the bear. He kills the bear, I think, and then the guy is like, I'll make a deal with you. I don't know how it got from the bear to the deal. I don't remember that. He's like, he skins the bear, right? He skins the bear because apparently he could just do that in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll make a deal with you. You wear this bear coat for a year. Every time you reach into the pocket.
7 years.
7 years?
7 years.
Yeah, I thought it was just a year.
7 years.
Granted, I was a kid. So for the next 7 years, every time you reach into the pocket, there'll be money. That's all you got to do. But you can never, ever take the coat off. You can't clean yourself. You can't bathe, no shower, no washing yourself, no nothing. But you've got unlimited money for the next 7 years.
Unlimited money.
Every time you reach in, every time you reach in the pocket, it's a magic pocket. There's gold coins. Would you take the deal?
So, and again, a couple of...
I probably missed some things.
The guy, you missed one thing.
Well, in my version, you don't know what the guy is until the end.
Well,
but in the real story, you probably know.
The guy was the devil.
He's the devil.
He's the devil. I think it's key to mention. The guy was the devil.
Oh, well, yeah.
So the devil says, I'll make a deal with you. So go on.
So the guy is right away. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have money. And so he wears the bearskin and he's going to the bars and, everybody loves him. He's everybody's best friend. He's reaching in, giving money, buying beers for everybody. Everybody has a great time. And then a couple months go by and, his hair's getting a little straggly, or you can tell things aren't going as well. And he probably doesn't smell as good. And then, he starts to look awful.
Yeah.
Hair is long. Remember, he's not showering. He's not doing anything.
7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. So in the story that we saw, there was a movie. We watched this when we were kids in grade school. And we watched it, I bet, 10 different times over the years. I don't know why it was in heavy rotation. Yeah. They were trying to give us a message, like somebody in the class needed to take a shower. Oh. And they were trying to drive, and they made us all watch it, even though it was the one kid in the back that didn't take showers or for whatever the reason. Yeah. And so later in the story, he like reaches into his armpits and he's like, he's like shaking around and he pulls out like a handful of maggots because they're like eating him and they're eating then he can't take the bear skin off. his nails, his fingernails get like super long because he's not supposed to like trim his nails or anything.
And Brando, I mean, it's very detailed. This synopsis
it's
that you're
disgusting.
giving.
Well, these are the things that I remember.
Okay, but it's not a fairy tale podcast. Like you got to get to the point on this.
Okay,
deal.
well, this is the gross stuff though. I just had to set it up.
I know.
And so he finally gets to the end of the 7 years, and the devil, now we know he's the devil, comes back and he's just like, "Hey, you did it. I'm gonna take the coat off. You're fine." And he's like, "Yeah, but now you got to wash me." And so there's a whole part of the episode where he like hoses him down and he pulls the bearskin off, and it's like pulling his skin off with him.
Brando didn't read them. He didn't watch the movie.
Well, I told you I don't know those. I just know.
Wow, this is all new. I didn't even know about it.
This is Brando's special version. I don't know. He saw some weird directorial
Imagine you're 8 years old, and this is what you're seeing on the street.
This is the fairy tale.
Oh my god!
He's kind of got it right. Okay,
right.
I don't know.
At one point,
so the guy
is disgusting.
Take a shower.
Okay, yeah, you missed the whole thing.
Okay,
the guy is disgusting. It's a tough choice, but he has money. His money. So he goes to this farmer, and the farmer has 3 daughters, and they are attractive girls. And he the first 2 he wants to marry, and they
I forgot about the daughters.
Yeah, this is kind of important.
Okay,
and they run away in horror. Yeah, we did the maggots and not this part,
but one.
So they run away in horror. Okay, and they're like, "No, he's disgusting. I'm not marrying him." And the one girl, she's like, "All right, I'll marry you." And so he gives her half a ring. He goes, "I'm going to be back in 7 years or whatever time with the other half of the ring." So he shows up at the end, and this time he's a good looking guy. Okay. And he's not wearing a bearskin. He's well groomed. He's rich, he's rich and he's a good looking guy.
He's got no more maggots on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah. This is the movie that you saw was not called Bearskin. It was called Maggots. Anyway, so he goes to the farmer's house, and the 2 girls that ran away are like, "We love him." Like they're all over him.
Oh, yeah, now they're in.
He's like, no. I like her, and she doesn't recognize. She has no idea who he is. She's like, "I want to marry him." She's like, "Well, I'm already committed to somebody." He pulled out the other half of the ring,
and then he gave her a handful of his old maggots.
Yeah,
look at that.
He was like, "That's him."
Yeah.
I recognize those maggots.
I doubt that another fairy tale or like story or something is going to come up on this episode. But if it is, I'm not going to let Brando break it down for us.
I told you the best part.
He just
the best part.
All
is
you did
when
was
they pull that skin off and his skin's coming off. Oh,
yeah.
It was it's seared into my brain.
Mine too now.
So, anyways, that's what basically. The Green Giant looked like. He looked like bearskin.
What a terrible mascot.
Without the maggots. There's no maggots.
Never would have known that was supposed to be bearskin. It's awful.
It was bearskin. Okay, so they went with him for a while. In 1930, they turned him green. Okay, in 1935, old Leo Burnett took over. Leo Burnett created some characters in advertising. Anybody know? Sean, you want to take a shot at it?
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yes. Brando.
Who's doing research.
I know the name, but I don't.
Tony the Tiger, Marlboro Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they were like, "Hey, let's make this guy a little friendlier, okay?" If there were maggots, he took them away.
Any maggot mascots?
Yeah, so he
Mighty Maggot.
Yeah, he was just a Green Giant at that point. Okay, so he added, he made him smile, and he added like
cleaned him up.
And he had, instead of like a bearskin outfit, he had like foliage covering him, and foliage on his head, and he added the word jolly up front, and that's when he became the Jolly Green Giant. When you get to the 1960s, he started saying "ho ho ho." Yeah,
that was
the
60s when that hit in.
Yeah. 1972, very important thing happened. Your boy Sprout, full name Little Green Sprout, came around.
Gotcha.
Sprout was like a child, and he was a bit of an apprentice. I don't think he was the son of the Jolly Green Giant. He was an apprentice. He was very curious. He wanted to learn about vegetables.
Was there a concern, you think, that they needed to freshen up old Jolly at that point? Kind of like the cousin Oliver of the Brady Bunch?
Yeah.
They were like, people are getting tired of this.
It was exactly
Green
like
Giant.
Cousin
We need
Oliver.
to freshen it up.
Yeah,
Let's get a cantankerous kid in here.
Yeah. I think Different Strokes had a...
Cosby show. Everybody's done it.
Who was Different Strokes?
It was he's a singer.
Keith Sweat.
Yeah, Keith Sweat.
Okay.
No, he's did a bunch of other stuff. I can't think of that. He had that real bowl cut. We're Googling. Googling's happening on the screen. This is
Randy's
great.
Yeah.
We need a Googler on our show. It's just
high
me.
tech.
That's Cousin Oliver. Different Strokes. Is it Different Strokes?
I think Different Strokes was Oliver. Yeah. Brady Bunch. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah. I think you're right. And was Oliver a singer? I don't know, man. You got a lot of stuff.
Who was the Brady
on
Bunch kid then with the glasses? Remember him? They brought him in later.
I don't remember.
I thought he was a cousin.
Yeah. Could have been.
I'm really good at getting you off track.
Yeah, man. This is at this point. I think I would have rather
that kid.
Yeah, I would have rather talk about maggots.
Cousin Oliver. Oh my God, they were both named Oliver.
Both Oliver. Okay, you got something. Okay,
stumbled onto something.
You did.
Nice
Nice
job.
job.
To Sprout.
Yeah, let's go back to Sprout. Sprout. A lot of the commercials I saw, Sprout wasn't talking to the Green Giant. He was talking to a farmer. It's like kind of a farmer's like, well, Sprout, and guess who voiced the farmer?
Mel Blanc.
No, it's the same guy that voiced the Doughboy.
Oh, is he a name that we would know?
No, I don't think so.
He's the Doughboy guy.
Yeah, it was the same guy that voiced the Doughboy, voiced the voice of the farmer that was always talking to Sprout on those things.
Yeah, because the Giant didn't. He just kind of stood off in the
mostly
distance.
ho ho ho. Yeah, he said ho ho ho. A lot. Yeah.
He was unapproachable, so that's why they had to get Sprout in there.
I wouldn't say so much.
They're like, we got to get somebody in there to talk to because the Giant is kind of a jerk.
Yeah. Then there's. I want to talk a little bit about some of these advertising icons.
Okay.
Advertising Age. It's a magazine, sort of an industry magazine. In 1999, they ranked the top 10 advertising icons. Sean, what place do you think Green Giant came in?
I'll go second.
Came in third.
Oh,
he was right
good.
behind Marlboro Man and Ronald McDonald.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can't believe the Marlboro Man is up that high.
Yeah, cigarettes.
Well, and like,
I know, cigarettes. I don't know.
He's not a cartoon. It was just a guy.
He's a good looking guy, too.
Yeah, man. I mean, there was like a
rugged. Yeah.
charm to that guy.
Who the other people that made the list were Betty Crocker, who I've had some problems with. I had some run-ins with. When
we hate her on the show.
You were a Duncan Hines shop, right?
Yeah, Duncan.
Yeah,
Hines.
so
Duncan Hines was a real guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a guy that traveled around, traveling salesman, and started eating at restaurants, and thought it might be interesting to start rating restaurants.
And Betty Crocker, was that a person or?
Betty Crocker, and I've covered this on the pod before. I can tell you're not a listener.
I don't listen to every episode.
Betty Crocker was like they went around to like all the ladies that worked at General Mills. These guys went around and they were like they basically were like, let's take the most attractive quality in each woman and blend them into a pretty lady.
Old school
and I've said
objectification.
This is exactly. This is what I've said about Betty Crocker, especially when I was selling Duncan Hines. That's what Betty and General Mills think of all you women. None of you are pretty enough by yourself. You have to be.
You got to be. You have to be pieced together.
Yeah, you have to be Mr. Potato Head. Oh, Mr. Potato Headed together with all these other women.
I'm a Duncan Hines guy.
And that is, I think that's actually a Nick Griffin joke. There's something about Mr. Potato Head. So as well as trying to undercut my accomplishments, he does. He does
the whole Mr. Potato Head.
He's got some really good jokes. But yeah, so they the other people on the list: Betty Crocker, Energizer Bunny, who we've covered on this podcast, the Michelin Man, Elsie the Borden Cow, and Tony the Tiger, and Aunt Jemima. So they were all Green Giant beat them all out. So
yeah,
pretty big deal, Green Giant.
And he's also the one you would probably fear the most. Like if you let them all go at each other in a battle,
the great
Giant's winning that.
Oh, the Marvel Man might shoot you.
Yeah,
but I mean the Giant. I've seen the commercials.
Or second in smoke. I mean,
even better.
That's true. Yeah.
He'll just blow smoke in your face.
Stand near him and smoke for 20 years.
I mean, I think you guys also read one of them is a tiger.
Yeah, but the Giant is huge.
He's a tiger.
He could just step on the tiger.
Both make good points there. Because I mean, the Giant is like, I think, is like 55 feet is what they are basically going for.
Well, the statue of the Giant.
Yeah, but even like on the image on the cartoon,
he's massive.
I can tell you he wasn't 55 feet in the cartoon.
How big was he in the cartoon?
I don't know.
It's not the scale.
I got a 70-inch TV and it's huge. They don't have a 55-foot television.
Didn't fit him.
Unless you're at Bush Stadium or something. let's talk about the statue since Sean got there. There is a 55-foot statue in Blue Earth, Minnesota. That is just down the road, I think maybe 30, 60 minutes from Le Sueur. There, for a long time, was a Green Giant canning facility or production facility there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this guy, you might know him. He was in the radio business, Paul Hedberg.
Oh, Paul.
Yeah, Paul had
know each other.
Yeah, he had a radio show. Apparently, the show was called Welcome Travelers, and people would just pass through, and they'd be on his show.
Really?
And at the end of the show, he would give them some peas and some corn that were made by the local plant cannery, and they would always ask, they would say, "We want to see the giant." I hope jokingly, because it was a fictional character.
Yes.
And after a while, right around the time the new I-90, which was I think the first cross
transcontinental from Boston to Seattle.
Nice. First transcontinental freeway, I-90 was being built, and they were close to it. It went sort of right by Blue Earth, and they were like, "How do we get people to stop into Blue Earth from this freeway? How do we get some travelers?" Okay.
Ding, ding,
And they were like, "Can we build a Green Giant statue?" Green Giant, the company, it wasn't their idea.
Mm-hmm.
They went to him and said, "Can we build this?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can if we we have to approve it and we're not paying for it." So he went around to the local businesses.
At least prove. You don't want some like high school kid making it. And they're like, "Yeah, guys." That
doesn't look anything
like.
Well, they had that whole episode with, like, if they let you make it, there'd be maggots and
I would be true.
Yeah.
I'd be true to the after school special version of the Green Giant.
God knows what you saw. I don't even think it was the
Everyone
same
would
movie.
remember.
Were you even in school, man?
Yeah, it was Bearskin.
Exactly. Yeah,
you saw me light up. You said the word Bearskin.
I know I
couldn't
did.
believe that anyone else knows what that is.
Yeah.
Other than the kids I went to school with.
That was somebody trying to make a statement as a director, and like, I'm going to go off book here a little bit in my own interpretation.
Now that I think about it, he did look a little bit like our 4th grade teacher. So maybe that was a homemade production.
I see
and
what
it
you're
was
saying.
to teach us to take showers.
Yeah.
Or we'll get maggots.
Well, I don't know if it's an appropriate lesson too, because the kid that you wanted to take showers would have had unlimited money. He was like, "No, I'm not taking a shower. I'm going to have unlimited money.
I want to get all the cash."
Yeah.
The ladies liked him at first. And they didn't.
Yeah.
I remember that broken ring. He breaks the ring.
Yeah.
In the version that I saw.
You did not remember the broken ring
well,
when
I
you
do
were
not
telling
when
the
you
story.
said it, but like
you left out the whole part about the ring.
Like,
yeah,
he can't break a ring. Nobody can break a ring, right? But he did. He went and gave her half of it.
You'd be surprised what you accomplish and learn how to do when you haven't showered in 7 years.
I guess.
Yeah, people aren't going to talk.
It was
to you.
impressive though. He just snapped that guy in half.
Snapped it. Why didn't you talk about that? Again, Paul went to the town and said, "Hey, he was like, we got to raise $50,000 to build the statue."
Ooh,
he did it in like a week.
Your kid, well,
like
because they love him. He's jolly and
10,
beloved.
10 companies, went around. 10 companies like, "Yeah, we'll give you $5,000 for to build the statue," because people are going to be like, "I'm coming in and I'll probably eat at your diner, or I don't know, buy whatever, probably a comic book shop." I'm guessing maybe there was back in the day like a Blockbuster Video or something. I don't know. Any guesses of what these videos? Maybe a baseball card store.
Yeah, I mean,
what are we still in the
Loan
60s
Shark?
Here? I lost track of the year we're in.
Now we're this is back in the day, actually.
Probably not a store.
So yeah, it probably wasn't a video.
Probably like a hula hoop store.
Hula hoop stores, yeah. Somebody's making
like hula hoop stores were just rolling in cash at the time.
They were. So they get the approval, they make it, and it's still there. It's 55 feet. It's a big deal.
And it's the halfway point to Seattle to Boston.
Oh, really? What's he look
I mean,
like?
roughly.
Does he look like the Jolly Green Giant that we know?
It is, dude. Go ahead. I dare you to challenge me on that. Let's roll up the sleeves.
It's the halfway point?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not to the exact mile, but it's essentially, if you go to Boston to Seattle, GPS it, and then you go Boston to the statue, and it's about half the distance. And Greg is just baffled by this.
No,
it's the vegetable divide.
I can tell by your conviction that
I'm
actually
too on point on this.
You actually did some work on this one.
I did a lot of work, man, and I got a lot more to talk about.
You are being Googled.
I'm glad.
I could quiz you, man. That's how much I got.
I'll get to you in a second. As long as we're talking about statues, it is the 22nd largest statue in the United States.
Whoa.
The Green Giant statue. What's number one?
Man, what is number 1? Because it's not the Statue of Liberty, I don't think.
Yes, it is.
It is?
It is Liberty.
I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's number 2?
The Statue of
Good Hope.
There you go.
Do you know
Is
any
it an
statues?
obvious one?
No, it's not.
Does it have
it's
the word
Pegasus
statue in
and
it?
Dragon. It's at a casino in Hallandale Beach, Florida. There is a Statue of Union. It's at a temple in Sugar Land, Texas.
Okay.
Um,
Don't they have just a pair
went on
of
a-
legs
some
in
dates-
Texas too somewhere? Like they're just legs. They're big, tall legs.
this sounds like you
I
see this on a film strip.
I think in Texas,
the 5th grade.
somewhere in Texas, there's
It
just
didn't
big
come up.
legs,
After you
but they're
did
real
Bearskin.
tall.
Are you
I
sure
don't-
it was like?
I
Was it a? Are you sure it just wasn't foggy that day? and
Maybe
you-
it was, and I just
you
didn't see the rest
see
of
what
it.
was up there at the top. Yeah.
I like your leg statue. They're like, there's
Yeah,
a whole
there's a
person
whole
there.
other
you
person
tell
there.
me.
State of Union or Statue of Union is in it's in a temple in Sugar Land, Texas. Sugar Land is it's a suburb of Houston, Texas, right down 59.
You lived in Houston for
I
a
lived
while,
in Houston
that's
for 5 years. I went on a date with a girl that lived in Sugar Land, and
Ooh.
beautiful, really nice girl.
Do you think she listens to the podcast?
I know she doesn't. Yeah, I don't think she likes me.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. And then Our Lottie, Our Lottie, Our Lady of the Rockies in Butte, Montana. Some other notable ones. These aren't in ranked order. Ones that I've seen. The Golden Driller in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Have you seen the Golden Driller?
No. What's he doing? Is he drilling for oil?
Yeah, oil driller.
Just drilling. Does he drill other stuff or just oil?
I would imagine. I mean, it's Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's oil.
Yeah,
man.
well-
Have you seen this before?
Oh yeah, man.
When you were there?
You've seen it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you've been to Tulsa. It's off the freeway. The Marine Corps War Memorial in Arlington. Lucy the Elephant in Margate City, New Jersey. I've been up in Lucy the Elephant in Margate City, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Christ of the Ozarks in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and Dinny the Dinosaur in Cabazon, California. That is on the 10 near Palm Springs.
Oh, okay. And it's a
Yeah.
dinosaur?
Big dinosaur. It's probably the biggest dinosaur in the world.
Do you
Yeah.
think a statue has to be bigger than you, or at least the same size as you, to be impressive as a statue? Because I've seen statues. I mean, you got the little bitty one, when you put on a desk or something.
Yeah.
But I've seen some where it's just like a small person.
Yeah.
Like 4 foot tall, but it's
Right.
supposed to be an adult, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like I think they need to
Yeah.
be big or little.
Yeah, either desk
But
size.
slightly
or-
smaller than you.
It's
They're
disturbing.
like a goblin or something.
Yeah, it's disturbing. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you feel that way. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
it's always bothered me.
I agree with you on that one. Sean, you said you had some real interesting information. So, Tia.
Oh, there's this, what's it called? Green Earth, or what's it called? What's the place called where the statue is?
Oh, and
Blue Earth.
Blue Earth. There you go.
Blue.
They got a museum.
Yes.
Do you know about this? Is this? you
It's
got this
near
down?
the. It's near the.
Yeah.
It's not right there, but it's near it.
But they have that little green sprout thing. You know how many? They have them planted all over Blue City. You know how
Oh,
many?
he's all over
They're
the
just
place?
like little.
It's
yeah,
like
little Easter
Disneyland,
eggs.
Disney World, where they put Mickeys
Yeah.
all over the place.
Oh, yeah. There's
And-
little green spots all over
Yeah,
the
you can
place.
check them off. And you know how many you can get to if you hit them all?
Oh, I don't even know.
62.
24.
24
You just
little
got to
green
plant it
sprouts.
all over.
They could do more.
That's kind of cool. So it's like a scavenger hunt. Really. You go find
Yeah, people do that. And then every summer, this was hilarious. In the winter, the kids will come down, they'll put candy in front of the giant. And then they come back the next day and the candy's gone and like wrappers are on the ground. And then there's like big footprints as if like the giant.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's part of Giant Days, which
Or
is-
maybe it was Giant Day. Okay.
Yeah, the week after 4th of July, they have their annual festival,
Oh.
and they have green footprints all over the.
Gotcha. Then maybe I'm wrong about the winter.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
it's
cool.
summer and it's just a footprint.
Maybe they're doing that too.
Footprint.
I wouldn't want to
only.
put candy in front of me, thinking you're taunting him. It's like, what do you think I'm?
Might not even be candy.
Stand
They just
for.
put it's something that just like let's say okay he stepped down and
Sure, he's going to step on it.
That museum in Blue Earth.
yeah
Not Blue City, but Blue Earth.
Blue.
Green Earth or green whatever.
Green
Uh,
City.
Green Angel Earth
Yeah,
City.
I don't know what you're talking about. But that
Maggot.
museum, it's TripAdvisor's ranks it number 2 on the things to do in Blue Earth. I
Well,
think the
what's
actual
the
statue
thing?
is number one.
Oh, the statue's
Yeah.
number one. What's in the museum?
The
Is it
problem
just
is there's
the-
only
the
3 things to
cannery
do.
stuff?
8 things.
I know. There's maybe 4.
Walmart is number 7.
Well, you can go to the old
I
hula
know,
hoop.
man.
You can go to the old
I'm
hula
not
hoop
lying.
store that closed
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
McDonald's because it's got a playground
All I
in
know,
it.
Walmart is
Walmart.
number 7,
That's
and the
insane.
skating rink is number 8.
Well,
I looked this up.
I mean, if it's a good Walmart,
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have stuff that other Walmarts don't have. It's exciting.
I'm not so sure that's the case.
Sometimes.
You want to give an example?
I mean, there's bad Walmarts.
There are bad Walmarts.
You've been into one where you're like, oh,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
small one.
It's
Where's all the
small
stuff?
and they don't carry quite the distribution. Yeah.
You go to a big one, like if when we go fishing, my friends and I, we go trout fishing down in like southern Missouri. There's like
Yeah.
trout streams, and there's a Walmart on the way. And you think the Walmarts around here have good fishing stuff? Oh boy!
Oh yeah.
You got to go to that one down there.
They got
They got a whole 2 more aisles of stuff.
tackle.
Yeah, like good stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know Walmart had this.
Forgive me for, but you come from a very rural area.
I do, yes.
Yeah, and
I'm
you
a
live.
ruralite.
I mean, I guess you don't live really in a rural area now, do you?
I mean, there's fields all around our neighborhood.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying,
so-
like, why are you driving 5 hours to go fishing? Can't you just go fishing out back?
It's trout.
Okay.
You want to fish for trout in a trout stream
Okay.
and like stand in the water and do all that, the fly fishing and stuff.
Redbud, where you grew up, there's some fishing there, right?
I mean, there's fishing, yes.
Wait, you grew up
Okay.
in Redbud?
I did, yes. That's
Isn't
my
that-
hometown.
Wasn't that in Funny Farm where Chevy Chase
Yes,
lived?
yes, it was.
There we go.
Was it really?
That is that is the
Yeah,
town.
it was like
Yeah.
it was like a really small town in the movie.
yeah,
I'm
that
wondering if it's
is.
the same stuff as you. Kinda
It's
that
so many
size?
of the jokes work.
What do we talk?
I
How many
think they
people
were on
live
the
in
north.
Redbud?
They were on the northeast or something. Is where that
Oh,
Redbud
yeah.
was.
It's up in New England.
But yeah, it was. A lot of the jokes work.
Those people were unfriendly.
Yes, they
Wait,
were.
hold on. How many people lived in Redbud when you were there? What are we talking? Like 2,000?
When I grew up in Redbud, we were like 2,600 people. I
So
think
you,
it's
everyone,
more
I said, you
3,000.
knew everyone. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. You pretty much did.
you do one dumb thing. You're
Oh,
the whole town knows.
you're toast.
Yeah.
You never. I'm so I had to move. I don't live there anymore. I did too many dumb things.
How many cops are on the force in Redbud? Over or
Um,
under on 4?
Like when I was a kid, I swear there were 3,
3.
Yeah.
and like I knew their names.
What were their names?
There was Schmitty,
O'Malley.
Schmitty, and
You guys had a cop named Schmitty?
yeah,
Yeah.
Schmitty, and he wasn't the chief though at the time. I can't. Think
I
of
hope
the guys.
Schmitty was not the chief.
And I think there was a third one. Oh, that's gonna make me crazy. I can see the guy, but there were these 2
gonna
old
make me
guys,
sore.
and then I think there was a third one, but that was it.
So if somebody got in trouble, if they got arrested, they just put them in like that Andrew Griffith jail. Is it
Yeah.
just like
They'd be like, "Oh,
Next to the desk."
Andy." You'd
Yeah.
be swinging the keys
be
around.
cool,
in the
man.
big
I'd like
ring.
to live in a small town for like a month just to see.
You just
I'm not
said
used
you
to
just
it.
said if you do something stupid, everybody will know about it in the town.
And I don't get it.
You can't escape it.
Well, I'm
I
just
have no
saying-
idea what he's talking about. He's just doing a bit or something.
I'm
That
not
makes no
doing-
sense. I'm saying, yeah. I don't know what he's talking about. I have no idea what's happening.
I'm
but-
going to explain it to you.
Okay, go ahead, man.
You
is-
just
what is
said
it?
you
Yeah.
were the one who said it. You said if you do something stupid,
Yeah.
everybody in the town will know about it.
Oh, because I do
Listen,
dumb stuff.
Every now and then you do. I mean,
The guy, he can't stop, everybody. He just can't stop. It's just fireworks with Greg. Bing, 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 bing. Got him again. Zing, zing, zing. Sing me, Brandon, because I'm a dum-dum.
I mean,
Anyways. And I
Brando's,
probably would-
Brando's
you know
real
what?
name is Brandon, by the way.
yeah, you can call me either one. That's fine.
Brandon Lutman.
It's true.
I've always called you Brandon.
You shouldn't. He
Yeah.
doesn't want that out there.
No, it's perfectly fine.
I'm just messing
It's
around.
not a very good secret.
Yeah.
We do it all. We talk about it on the radio all
Sean,
the time.
Brando's a public figure.
He is a public figure,
Yeah.
as opposed to us, which we're not. Although, yeah, we went a little public figure
I
on the
think-
Cheez-Its clip. Can we talk about that?
Let's talk about it.
I mean,
That
you
was
had
pretty
the-
cool, guys. We got a little viral sensation.
Well, you had the Cheesecake Factory brass was here or something too. So I mean, you guys are movers and shakers.
Yep, that episode's going to be coming out. That's going to be a big deal.
Yes.
But
What happened with the Cheez-It?
We had a Cheez-It clip. Andy Woodhull, a very funny comic, was in here and a good
Mhm.
guy. And we talked a little bit about Cheez-Its. And one of our clips is currently at 2.3 million views
You're
on
kidding.
Instagram. Yeah, it was a strong take by Andy.
What was it? So I listened to the episode. What's part of it took off?
Well, when he was talking about that little thing where like there's a code that you can tell.
Oh,
Yeah, like where the real good Cheez-Its
Where's
come
made in
from.
Kansas?
Yeah,
You look for the K.
yeah. Look for the K. Yeah.
That's what. Do you think it'll let's talk about it again. Maybe it'll go viral again.
Yeah, right. Let's do it.
I don't think that's
how
the
it
way it
works?
works, man.
I know.
Like, do you want to play Andy?
Look for the K.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
see it on
What
the
if
box.
what if it hit like 20 million and the only thing that was holding it back was Tim? Like, it was like it
Yeah.
was a viral
It was a
clip,
Tim factor.
but then Tim was in on it. Now it's like 30 million. Yeah, because Tim's not in on it.
Not on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother him at all.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim can be a little competitive with some of that stuff. Sean, any more interesting things that you have to say?
Let's see. They've been in the Green Giants in the Thanksgiving Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day parade
Oh yeah,
every
he is.
year,
He's
Yeah.
awesome.
and like people love it. I guess this is like it was
He's
supposed to
the
be
only-
a one and done, and they're like, "You're coming back."
Really?
2018 and more, and it's one of the few things that people are more excited about the mascot than they are the actual product itself.
Yeah, nobody
Like more
likes
like-
vegetables, but they like
Yeah, like
the
nobody's like,
mascot.
"Oh man, make sure I get some peas as well."
You know,
But
he's the only balloon that's to scale out of all the Macy's, balloons. They're all big versions of Snoopy or big versions of Mighty Mouse, but the Green Giant, you're like, well, that's just
how
That's
big
just-
he is.
that's him.
He's the replica.
that's his
Yeah.
size.
Yeah, which seems sort of unfair. Like they should have made him
Huge.
gigantic.
As big as that big P.
Again, you're undercutting the guys. Just I don't want you to be let down when you go get these peas. They're not that big.
I don't
they're
think they're
big.
available.
They're big, but they're not that big.
They're like
Okay?
key lime size, what I meant.
They're not. They're not,
Not
all
even that
key
big?
lime size.
Key lime
I
size.
don't even know the difference between key lime and a lime, but they're.
Oh, key lime's like that big.
Oh, they're that big.
Yeah. Do you think it's that big?
It's not as big as a key lime.
No.
It's not. It's not as big as a key lime. I'm almost
All right.
positive. Yeah.
I just want them to be big.
We're gonna do
Hold
some.
on, I got more, dude. We're not even close to not. We're gonna talk about this for another 30 minutes. So just stand back, sit back, and relax, guys.
All right.
No.
We'll just.
They put the last thing. They put the scarf on him. He's got a scarf,
red scarf.
but he's not. It's not on the summer, and then they'll throw it on in the winter,
Oh God, that's
warm
right.
up,
He
and then
does
he
have
looks
a
like a
scarf.
South Korean Air Force pilot for some reason.
do you know why they
like the Red Baron.
introduced that?
You know that I don't know. I'll let you take the floor there.
Frozen foods.
frozen vegetables when they went frozen. Yeah,
Yes.
that's why.
What do I
Like it clicks.
Yeah, they introduced frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables, I believe, it's the healthiest way to eat. Fresh vegetables would be the healthiest way, but
Yeah.
It's the most
frozen
affordable.
vegetables are much healthier than canned vegetables, as I understand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know it's like if you're going to get into the vegetable game, it's expensive to buy fresh all the time, but you can go frozen
Yeah,
and it's
For
good.
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just-
Greg's not a frozen guy, man.
I do
Diva.
fresh every now and
Diva.
then. I will edamame, the shelled edamame. I'll get that
Mhm.
frozen sometimes, and then some lima beans every now and then frozen.
Oh, I
But
haven't
for the
had
most
lima
part,
beans in a while.
yeah, I always liked them.
They
Yeah.
are tough, man. That's
you ever
where I
have
draw.
anybody correct you before and say those are butter beans
No, I had some people say they were lima beans, but yeah,
from Peru?
yeah.
Jose?
Jose Lima,
Beans.
pitcher for the Astros,
I
maybe.
think so.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was a pitcher for the Astros. Transitioning from Jose Lima right into comments. Brando
Oh yeah.
is a professional broadcaster.
He is. He's a pro. I'm
Tim
not.
usually does our comments. Once again, Tim's gone from the podcast. We fired him. We wish him the best. But no,
Yeah.
Tim will be back.
Sorry,
Tim will be back.
What if he starts his own?
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this
That's
guy with the P thing. He's like, they didn't want it. He didn't want it. So he's like, heck, I'm going to do my own thing. Tim could hear this, get inspired. Gone.
It's true. He might.
Makes a podcast, gets a clip, puts it on Instagram, goes viral. We're in the weeds.
Yeah, he might go on and do.
Yeah.
The
So we got to really, let's tread lightly here,
I'm
Greg.
gonna tread light. I'm just going to say, if we lock up Randy,
Randy's got a 3-year deal. He's
Randy's
in.
got a 3-year deal.
Oh, I thought you meant physically lock him up. I'm
All
like,
the money.
I don't think you should tell him. Then you should jump him.
All the money that we did put into the table,
That's-
there's if you want to do a podcast as good as this, just the sort of barriers to entry. Like you got to buy a lot of mustard, you got to buy a lot of peanut butter, and you got to put together a really nice table. And I don't think Tim has the means or the time, to be honest
No,
with you.
it's an incredible amount of peanut butter that you've got here, and the Pringles. It's
And the Pringles.
impressive.
I'll
For
be
some
honest with you
reason, I
guys.
thought it was like fake.
No,
It's not. It's real.
Now, I will tell you, a significant amount of those Pringles cans are empty.
Well, you can't do it with
I'll-
the peanut butter though.
we
then you
we
would
have
see.
eaten
Yeah.
quite a bit of the Pringles. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Don't-
that one's empty.
Don't
Well, the rest of them
Don't
are
touch
full.
the merchandise.
The rest of them are completely full.
Yeah, don't do that. The other thing I want to say, Green Giant, the mascot really sort of, that's when it took off. If we could get a mascot for this podcast.
This is good.
What would
man.
it be?
Yeah, this
Are
is
you with me?
This is a really. I'm glad you're talking this way.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, now we gotta.
Okay, this kind of dovetails to one of the notes that I wrote down. I know you guys are
Taking notes?
Yeah.
All right.
I come prepared.
Yeah.
Radio guy.
We've never seen anything like this before.
No, I mean I hold the pen, but I don't use it.
Yeah, same with me.
I'm just to make it look like I'm getting stuff. I've written literally 5 words. Seriously.
And it
Not
just,
even kidding.
it just
Not
says
just
5.
today. That's the whole
It
podcast.
just says
That's
5
all
words.
700
It's
episodes.
not 5 words.
So
Good
you
He
guys
just wrote down Greg, Brando, Randy.
Randy.
Let's keep track of who he's doing a
Yeah.
podcast.
so you're looking for a name for your listeners.
Man, this is a
And
this
it seems
is
like
tough,
it's,
man.
It's a hot button.
It is.
It's going to ruin the podcast. And
It's not gonna ruin the podcast.
It is, man.
But
Read one of those. I saw one of those comments. It's in there.
And people they're passionate about the names.
Yeah, but there's a couple people that are saying like it's in there somewhere. But it was like there's this one person that said like if they keep talking about what to name the people
they're
listeners,
out.
they are going to be named the few because they're about sick of it.
There. All right. Well, I just had one to throw into the mix
Okay.
of the consumers. What about the widgets? Calling them the widgets because that's like the generic term for
Right.
the product.
Brando's going to be doing comments.
All right.
Let's.
Okay.
And
And
that
then
poor guy got shut down. Hey, man, you're throwing things out there.
I have
fine
one
with
more,
it, so.
but I'm going to wait on it because
I would like to hear.
By the way, the listeners it is the brand wagon. That is official.
Oh, it is official.
not even close. No, it's even close.
Yeah, there
No.
seems to be an English.
I don't know.
issue.
I don't think people are. I think
It's
you
it's
just got to
not-
make sure you try and hear as many people as you can. And the point is, you can't please everybody, so you're trapped. Like
Right.
there's somebody's going to get hurt in this deal. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he's more in this Courtier thing or whatever it's called,
The thing
and
that
I
you-
am
the word that
off
you
of it.
debuted on the podcast.
And now to find out, doing research on it, now it's the name of like the nicest senior living facility. I think somebody in like the United States. They're like in
Oh.
LA, down. So it's like it's just getting too in the weeds with that one. So that one's probably
Mhm.
going to be in the bench. Not my call, but that is my opinion.
I mean, the whole thing
say that last part
seems
again.
a little
Say
costly.
that last part.
It's my call, not Greg's opinion.
We haven't made a decision yet. You guys,
If Tim
there's-
comes back,
a lot of people like the coterie. A lot of people like Brandwagon.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, probably we're not gonna. I mean, Tim's gonna be a big part of that decision.
Yeah, he's got always strong opinions about
Yeah.
logos.
Yeah.
Names.
Tim does not like Brandwagon.
He does not.
No,
Oh, see, I would. It's a pun. I figure he would be on board.
I'm not. Yeah, it's a portmanteau. I think is what it is. Right?
Yeah.
yeah. You want to read comments?
Yeah, I got.
All
There's
right.
a whole bunch of them. You guys.
I would.
are
I will
very
take. I don't
popular.
want. I will take if anybody has any ideas for a mascot. That
Well, I think you need to find out what
I-
those people.
no,
No? Just the mascot is.
The mascot is for those are the listeners. The mascot is for the podcast.
How about the mascot is just a Frankenstein mascot of all the different products, like that whole list of the top 20 mascots
Oh,
out
I see
there.
what you're saying.
You just Frankenstein them into like one
No,
big.
that's,
So it's got like a
there's
Ronald McDonald hair
It's like partial stealing
on the Green
is what that is.
Giant.
basically
Yeah.
like our sign.
And
Yeah.
it's like one hand is the hamburger helper hand.
No,
I mean,
forgot about the hamburger helper hand. That's good though.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
somebody,
yeah.
I think a
Yeah.
listener of yours could just Photoshop that together and maybe change your
Yeah,
mind.
that little thing. That was a fun little thing.
Sounds like a fun idea, don't you think?
I think it's going to be like Stevie the Table, and it's going to be our mascot is going to be
It's just a
the
table.
old table. That's our mascot.
This is good, man. This
It's a
is
pretty good
this isn't
idea.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stevie,
yeah.
Hey,
People
I'm-
will want that.
I'm
on a
Stevie
t-shirt.
the Table.
Where is that old table, Randy?
Tim, Greg, and Sean are real funny guys.
He's just laying out back.
Yeah.
Just, I remember when I was on a show.
Here's the thing. The table's downstairs, Randy said.
Okay.
So I think we cut it up,
Yeah.
send it off to people, kind of like Bush Stadium.
I
Oh,
like
Busch
that.
everybody
Stadium.
gets a little piece
You know,
of
so
the
you
table.
get a piece
Sean?
of history. I think this is $1 million idea.
I
Right
think
here.
I said some insulting things about you,
You
earlier
do
in
every
the
week,
podcast,
buddy. That's who you are.
and you just I apologize for it because I've been waiting for a good idea from you for a while.
There you go,
And
man.
there it is.
See, I'm making miracles happen.
Here's what I want you to do right away. The first guy to get a piece of that table is
Yes.
Mookopotamus. We still have to make up for
Yeah,
Tim.
and that was Tim dropped the ball that
Yeah,
day.
Tim screwed a lot of things
He
up.
tries to defend it, but
I
bad
want you to
at shipping.
send one to that person that we sent the Pringles can that got damaged. But yeah, we'll do something.
The
Randy, it's still there, right? And you have the ability to chop it up. You can talk, Randy.
Randy knows.
He's nodding at me.
Like, I don't want any part
Doesn't
of
make
this.
for good broadcast.
I can do what he wants.
We got a professional broadcaster here, and you're making us look bad.
He's on a 3-year deal. Do what he wants.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Randy?
I can do it. It can definitely be chopped up, and yeah.
Would you say, because you're a tradesman, you say could we put some sort of finish on it, or I don't know, should we
No, you don't
sign it, or what do you do?
You may at most sign it. That's it. You don't do
Okay.
any manipulations to it from this point on. You just cut
It's
it
your
up,
idea. I'll let you run with it.
Send it off.
Yeah.
If we
Just-
do the top, it's finished, so we could just sign it, and then we could spray a clear coat over the top of the signatures, and you won't have to worry.
Now
You
I
okay
won't
with
object
that?
with that because Randy's, he knows that world.
This
so
is
I'm
your
not gonna
baby.
question-
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, because Randy knows that world, so he knows what he's talking about there. I mean, I see clear coat. All that does is just keep it protected. Correct, Randy? Having a clear coat.
Yeah, because it's got a clear coat on it like that one does right now. So if we just sign over the top of it, we could
Gotcha.
spray a clear over
I
that
like
little
this. See,
piece
this
again
is what I'm
and
talking
protect
about.
it.
Real classy.
Let's go ahead and get to the comments.
Oh,
buddy.
sure,
yeah.
we can do that.
All right. What are people talking about?
All right, you guys are very popular. Lots of comments. This is from Jessica Blank 6470. She said, "Andy is the MVP of guests. This episode was fantastic, due in part to his input as a Cheez-It aficionado. I look forward to this podcast every week. Keep up the great work."
That's good to hear.
Andy was great, man. And I tell you, the Cheez-Its was more popular than I thought, and just reaction wise.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just another product. People were like, all right, cool, move on. But people got kind of into it.
I was really surprised, and maybe this comes up in the comments, but I don't think so. No one mentioned Better Cheddars. Are you guys aware of Better Cheddars?
No.
It's like the Cheez-It. I always thought it was the Cheez-It rival when I was
Cheese
a
nips.
kid.
Is this
I
like an
know.
Aldi's deal? One of those?
No,
bootleg?
it was on
Ask
all the
Randy.
store shelf.
I mean, Greg's not wrong. That is your
If
department,
it's
buddy.
something that's like store brand, ask Randy. What are we even talking about?
Well, Better Cheddars, I think, were really good, and they're
Okay.
still around.
All right.
I thought they'd went away, but I found them not too long ago.
I'll take a
so.
look at it.
This is from Boris in the house. Said, "My favorite part of the podcast is the pure panic from Greg when there is a half second of dead air to let the conversation breathe or turn on him. Turn it down 6 notches, Greg." I don't notice you have a panic about dead air.
Come on.
I don't know what if he does or
Or is it
doesn't,
maybe
man. It's
just
just
a different program?
I don't know
good for
if
him to
you-
take a shot. He gets some punches.
Not
once
sure
in a
if
while.
you noticed, I allowed quite a bit of dead air there after Boris into House's comment.
Yeah, I'm dead air
And I'm
king.
taking it down. I think I'm down to 8 notches.
It's,
Right now.
now we're doing. It all comes back to Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
This is from Smurfy006. OMG. Yes, Andy, so exciting. I did not think I could love this podcast more, and yet you guys continue to bring things up a notch.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think
That's
that
nice,
person
Smurf.
loves you.
Yeah. Thank you, Smurf.
From Maximum Goodness, love the table. I absolutely hated the old table.
Mm.
However, not a fan of the shelf. Keep trying. What shelf?
Here's
These?
a shelf showcasing our products in the front. Keep trying. All right.
What's wrong with that? It seems all right.
These people,
I-
they're hard to please.
We could have it
Brando?
in a shrine. We could have like this $1 million,
Oh,
encased like a World Series, like a gold glove. And it'd be like,
They're not going
socks,
to care for that.
Like this.
change
dumb.
it.
Everyone's got an opinion. From Tychus Gans something. TYKU is how it starts.
Oh, that's Tyga Scans.
Tyga Scans. I get it now.
Okay.
In loving memory photo of the OG table should be added to the wall. Cody Ray Thomas Museum in Sioux City, Iowa. They are giving away free salmon stickers.
Oh,
Does
cool.
that make any sense?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I know the
they're
stickers.
basically-
I know the
saw
stickers.
that.
It's kind of, Sean sells a salmon shirt, as you can see over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
kind of infringing on his business, is what I think this guy's
Oh, you
trying
don't
to-
like
Well, really, what they're screwing up the market.
Yes.
It's like, that's my big X to grind here. It's like, well, wait, how am I going to turn around and get $20 for this thing? And they're like, just take it. Just
that's
take
not
it.
Yeah,
cool.
you can't.
By the way, I got to jump in real quick. Give me
Mhm.
just throwing a flag here. Last week, you were kind of taking shots at Tim and I about our packing skills at the post office. So
Yeah.
I said on the Cheez It episode, I said, you know what? How many times have you gone to the post office? Which Greg got quiet because he doesn't. And I said, tell you, anyone reaches out to me, 3 free shirts if Greg mails them. and a few people did it's going to be Marianne Harrelson. Marianne Harrelson. I got 3. They're packed. I'm going to give them to Greg. It's your move.
That's
you go
fine.
to the post office, Marianne, you
I got
get
no
him.
problem.
If he doesn't, that's between you and
No,
him.
I'll do it.
3 shirts packed.
It sounds like
I'm
more
a
than
man of
more than-
people.
sounds like several people reached out. Wait,
No, it was only a couple.
All right.
Honestly, people,
Happy to do that. All you need to do is get me the shirts and give me her information. I'll take care of it.
it's all set. So I'm just saying I did my part because I'm a good person.
I'm going to the UPS store, not going to the post office. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I guess I didn't think
preferences
about
are okay. I
yeah,
think, right?
going to UPS store.
That could be a brand
Yeah.
new day.
There you go. UPS.
Yeah.
Next one. This is from Dustin Gaddis. He said, "Are we sure that there? Hold on. Are we sure there's more than one Cheez-It factory? Every type at my local Publix has the alleged coveted K marking from the Kansas plant."
This guy's calling Andy Woodhull a liar.
I think you need to have Andy on to answer
calling
that
Woodhull a liar. He's trying to undermine her 2.3 million views on her clip.
Oh.
I don't know. I saw some other
mean-
stuff about that. Maybe I'm going to call Woodhull. I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Oh, you think it might?
He might have
Yeah, all of
something.
them?
I don't know. I think I tend to side with Andy. He's a
Maybe
guy.
there was a time,
Andy spits facts.
and then Cheez-It found out, and they were like, "Guys, we got to just put K on all the
On
boxes.
all of them.
All
Yeah.
these places won't take the
Yeah.
Cheez-Its."
Well, you know what? They are now. If they did it,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
they're like, oh man, now what are we going to ship out an L box? This isn't going to work. It's not, if it's K
No.
or bust now.
no one's going to touch it.
I bet you it's just certain parts of the country. I bet you like the Northeast.
Yeah, the
or
thing is,
something.
yeah, it's probably like,
Midwest is probably, yeah.
well, no, he's saying Publix, which is in Florida.
Oh, Publix is just Florida. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like all the way up into
I don't know.
the South.
I guess call it
Georgia
if you're
and
from
Yeah,
Maine or
it's-
Washington.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's do that. and see if you-
Nashville, maybe he's in Nashville, and that's pretty close to Kansas.
Yeah, this is true.
As
This-
distribution centers go.
This is from at 13 Jonathan Davis. He said, "Don't let your dreams be dreams. You get that donkey cheese." What was the
man.
donkey cheese called again?
Oh, yeah.
Puce or
it was a weird
Puel.
word.
I think it's Puel.
Puel.
I think it was
It
Yeah.
came up and no one questioned. I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah, we're gonna get that donkey cheese. Well, I think you
You're-
said you were gonna. If something happened, you were gonna.
No. So you're going to buy, I think it's something
Oh,
about
yeah.
views. You're going to buy.
Yeah, if,
Sounds
something-
like
if we get, I think we get
100,000.
like 100,000 views on YouTube or something on an episode. I'm gonna get everybody some donkey cheese.
I mean, do you want it?
Yeah,
It's
man,
from a donkey.
it's the most expensive cheese. We're gonna do what I want. We're gonna have like donkey mac and cheese.
Seems
Pretty
wasteful.
nice, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 20,000 a bowl, but
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
you know,
Yeah.
we'll make it for you.
Well, from Jennifer Wiley Wright, she said, "My heart is broken that the table was removed from the show. Pour a little out for table. You shall be missed." Well,
Thank you,
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
We'll do.
You could put Jennifer
Yeah.
down as somebody receives a portion of
Jennifer
the old
needs.
table.
Jennifer, you're getting the first portion.
She
There it
sounds
is. It's on the
There it
books.
is.
sad about it. At
Sean,
Cameron,
write that down. That's gonna be one of your.
yeah, Jennifer
the sixth thing you write
Wiley
down.
Wright. 3 words.
I do have legitimate notes on my phone. Nobody believes it, but I swear I have piles of notes. All right. Sorry, buddy. Jennifer what?
From,
Jennifer Wiley Wright.
Jennifer Wiley Wright.
Jennifer, reach out to us. Send us your
And
information. It's gonna take a while.
it's going to be a minute.
You'll
Yeah.
get a piece
Brandy's
of the
got to do
table.
blue collar work here. So this is going to be.
From at Cameron Hadley 8209, he or she said Tabasco slander in Louisiana slander. Tabasco slander is Louisiana slander, and I will henceforth be boycotting anyone hating on Tabasco aside from the consumers because I like this podcast.
Hey, listen. The last thing we want to do is alienate our Louisiana listeners. I believe that was a view from Andy Woodhull,
Yeah.
and the views of Andy Woodhull do not necessarily represent the views of the consumer or Nate Bargatze or the Nateland network.
I did.
I'll stand by
I
that,
heard
Greg.
what he said. I agree with what he's saying, though. Tabasco at one point was it. That was the only hot sauce. Well, I'm not a permanent member. I'm a trial.
Are you trying to get us in hot water with Louisiana?
Well, but now you have so many more options. So I wouldn't say
No,
I
you're
don't
right.
care for it. I would just say that there's a whole
Just
world.
move
outside.
on, man. I'm trying to. We're big in Louisiana. Sean and Tim
I'm
and
not
I
saying I
have
don't
dates
like
that we're
Tabasco.
playing around with. We're gonna maybe
I
do
will
a
say, man, we
a
own
big concert in Bossier City or Dozier City,
Shreveport,
whatever.
look out.
Shreveport.
Next week, do a
Yeah.
whole thing on Tabasco, and all is saved.
You and Andy Woodhull are ruining it.
I'll blame him. He went hard on calling it a negative hot sauce.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I
mean,
understand that there are other hot sauces out there.
Okay.
the guy,
And a bunch from Louisiana too. And I'm sure Louisiana listeners would chime in and say, actually, these 15 sauces are excellent as
exactly. You're not going to win. It's like naming the podcast people. Like there's going to be too many suggestions.
Right.
There's just too many good ones.
well. From Michael Blale and a bunch of numbers. Said, love the pod, but if we don't stop the discussion about what listeners will be called, we will just be the few. Yeah,
That was it. Yeah.
That was my.
We're going to wind it down soon.
Yeah, I was planning on winding it down today, but
Then I threw another one.
Yeah,
in.
but then now it's still that people are like, well, what's it called? And then we have no answer.
We don't.
We got to respond to the people,
we
Greg.
don't have an answer.
Well, that's at least now I know that. So then I'll say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Proceed.
From
For the
Gabe,
time being, they are the coterie.
the coterie.
For the time being.
Gabe Reel said, posted a
This guy, man, gets
Gabe
more press.
Reel.
Gabriel's the guy who rates our jokes.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I remember now. I said, posted a news story where DQ was offering 85-cent blizzards for their 85th birthday.
Yeah, we saw that. Like, yeah, DQ had some deals going. We did DQ as a brand,
Oh, right.
and there's some big time DQ deals going on this past weekend.
Because blizzards, they ain't cheap.
No.
So that's an excellent
that's
price
a heck of a deal
for a
Yeah,
blizzard.
Yeah.
That's like a fourth of a blizzard.
Yeah.
Jack Morris 91 said, look at you guys. Thanks for the good work, Randy.
Oh,
about
wait,
that?
man. That guy used to play for the Cardinals. That's pretty cool.
Jack
He's a listener.
Morris.
John Morris didn't.
No, wasn't there Jack Morris, the pitcher?
Jack Morris pitched for the Tigers, I believe.
Jack Morris pitched for the Twins, I know, for a long time.
Who's
Did he
the guy
pitch
that
for the
pitched for
I
Twins?
swear he played
Jack-
at least 1 year for the
Blackjack.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Guy called Blackjack.
That was Blackjack was the guy who pitched for the White Sox. Jack McDowell.
Jack
was
McDowell.
Blackjack
Okay, yeah,
McDowell, I
gotcha.
believe.
Are you sure Jack Morris didn't pitch for the Tigers?
He might
I
have.
think
Randy,
he did, but I
Jack
think he
Morris.
also pitched for the Cardinals.
And
at
he
least
No,
pitched
once.
he
for
did
the
not pitch
Blue
for the Cardinals.
Jays.
He did not. You're 100% sure.
Pitched for the Blue Jays.
Unless it was one of those things where like he did for like 2 months or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's like
it has. I
Dennis
swear he was-
Eckersley.
This
like,
is
he pitched
something
for the
we
Cardinals
can't-
for like a month.
Randy, could you Google Jack Morris MLB?
And
This is
also,
the most important thing that we've.
I say, I
mean,
think
you
it was Tigers, Blue Jays,
Jack Morris, MLB, and
and Twins. Yeah, I remember the
Yeah,
Twins.
click on that.
the
One
did
of
you
the,
mean? Yep.
yeah, the one that says MLB right below there. There you go. That's going to probably have his years
Okay.
go down.
It's Tiger
Scroll
forward.
down.
So
there
got
you go.
that.
Now
There
we're,
we
now we're
go.
looking.
Yeah, a
at
lot of Tigers.
Can't see anything really.
I see Detroit,
Toronto.
I believe I did.
Minnesota,
I believe I said-
Toronto,
And then at the end, he played for everybody.
Cleveland.
Greg is right.
Cleveland. See, I didn't know he played for Cleveland.
Yeah, Minnesota for a year, Toronto, then Cleveland.
Boy, I'm
Not for the
thinking-
Cardinals.
I think somebody from the Cardinals.
Detroit, yeah, it's Detroit, man. It's Detroit.
Mainly Detroit.
He won. I think he won a World Series with them in '84. Yeah, with those two infielders that were really good, Lou Whitaker and
Alan Trammell.
We got time for probably 3-4
4 more.
All right.
Team
Any
more.
favorites? How about Jared Morris? Did he pitch for anybody?
No,
No, but he is related to Zach Morris. So That's
Okay.
pretty cool.
He said, I really thought Sean would be the first to go or table.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of thought so too, man.
Sean's
I
hanging in
mean-
there. Table, Tim.
You're cutting heads are rolling around
Oh,
here.
yeah.
The table
Yeah.
head, Tim's head.
Yeah,
Big changes.
It's like probation every week, man. You
yeah.
just see if you can just roll a dice, stay away from
We're,
seven.
we're thinking about next week getting rid of Diet Coke. It's going to be just Coke.
Might as well.
Yeah.
How
And
about,
this mustard's
We're making some
getting
cuts
close
here.
too, man. Gone.
well, it's gonna turn on you at some point. You're gonna walk in, and it's gonna smell like Bearskin's armpits.
Why did you
Mm.
got to bring that up?
He loves
Because
it,
it
man.
had maggots.
I don't
It had
think Coke,
maggots in his
Coke
armpits.
does not spoil like that.
Coke probably doesn't know, but the mustard might. How about one more? From Brandon Judy, it's either he or she, said, disappointed with the fact that everyone was so close-minded towards the extra toasties. Greg was obviously the only one correct. They are delicious. As a traditionalist, when it comes to the classic food I like or will eat, it took me a long time to even try the toasties. Now I will never go back. They are as good. They make the original taste stale. Kudos, Greg, on your refined taste buds.
Thank you.
So that's it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Is that the Pop-Tart? The other?
No, basically he's talking about there is a toasted version of the
the
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its. That's
Like
right.
this
And,
is the
I
burnt
liked them. The other three guys on the podcast hated them. Randy did not weigh in. Randy
I
was-
didn't hate him. But yeah, it was just like, it just tastes like a burnt. And I don't know, to me,
Yeah.
cheese, it's just non-burnt.
You guys haven't done Pop-Tarts, right?
No,
Because I know
I would like
Jerry
to. It's just
did the whole
Seinfeld sort of made
Yeah,
a
the
movie
movie.
about it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. We'll get to it at some point. But I figure like Nike too. They made a couple movies about that. They have
Yeah,
a
that's
book,
true.
Shoe Dog Billionaire. Like I'm like,
But
I don't know. If
Jolly Green Giant. Nobody's doing stuff on
There's
that.
no
You're-
Jolly Green Giant movie
you're out in
except
the
for the
front.
one that you described for about 17 minutes and did not get to the central,
I mean,
really premise. Of
If you watch the movie, the thing you're going to remember is the maggots and the skin coming off of them. You're going to forget all about the ladies.
about the plot.
We're going to be
long
in a net
fingernails,
loss of listeners
the
because people are
fingernails where
throwing
he's
up.
clipping the
Yeah.
Somebody knows what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Check the comments next week.
They all do now.
Oh, they'll
yeah.
know.
We spent a lot of time.
They'll be
with
like,
it.
I know exactly what Brando that fella's talking about because they won't know my name.
Brando, can't thank you enough, man.
Thanks for
Great
having
job.
me. This was so
We'll
much
have
fun.
you back.
Bullpen.
I appreciate it.
Savior.
Bailed us out.
The next time Courtney can't do it, I'll be happy to be here.
Dude, we have a long list, man. You're number 2. Number 2 on the list.
I'm happy.
You're my second call.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Brando. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, buddy. That was
Thank
really
you,
cool.
Sean.
Yeah, Greg.
We miss
Lot
you,
of
Tim.
fun.
My name is Greg Warren. We are the consumers. You have been consumed.